stay in his driver fault. Liability coverage. With this machine I'm blaming, his whole team live panic. Jack froze up and then died. Have you seen Titanic?
Bow to the neck. I mute his audio. Your youngest son, bow to the chest. Reduce his cardio, then bow to take your princess from you. Super Mario,
Basically, I'm coming at him. He's strapped in, I smash in. Both his hands with a hammer. How he gonna use his strapped in?
Hello. Welcome back to the third edition of the Rappers Pentagon Gauntlet. We have JSmo here, and today in this episode, we are going to do top 5 performers. And as we've done in the other 2 lists, we are going to do honorable mentions first. The first honorable mention for top 5 performers is none other than Ill Will. Ill Will is one of the more multifaceted battlers, but I do think that like his ability to command a stage in the past few years have been really good. Very charismatic, has the aggression, has the conviction, but also is an entertainer too. I feel like that kind of gets swept under the rug too. He can entertain a crowd. There's certain bags he can hop into, so that is a first person that we wanted to give a highlight to. Second honorable mention is none other than, she calls herself the queen of URL, Miss Hustle. Just her presence alone, just her stature, her ability to move around and stuff like that. Like, I still feel like, a lot of people say that like Vixen may have taken that crown, but in terms of longevity and in terms of like expansive body of work, I still feel like Miss Hustle is one of the better performers and the best performer out of all the ladies. So shout out to Miss Hustle. Third honorable mention, we want him to come back. He's very entertaining. Very great talent. Briz Rothstein has the gift of gab when it comes to being able to, control the crowd. He has the crowd in the palm of his hand every time he battles. Immense energy. Just really, really great performer. Second to last performer. I mean, like, this guy, man, he has so many special moves. His presence is out of this world. And that Shotgun Suge. Mr. Pocket Tap, Mr. Dunk, Mr. What Your Life Like, Mr. Random. Like, he just has so many special moves that land in the big room. And I know his consistency may not always be up to par to the other greats, but when he's on, he's on. So we have to give a shout out to him. And the last honorable mention that could have been in the top 5, but just missed the mark is Chess. I know Chess was pretty much put in that bar heavy lane, but he is so animated and has so much energy and so much, he knows how to command a stage and knows how to control the crowd. And I think that his performances on some of these stages are really, really immaculate and really, really crazy. Just the stuff that he's able to do. I immediately think of how you gonna use your strapped in? Like, it's just like stuff like that just, shows how great of a performer he is. But now we're getting into number 5, and this is going to be really controversial, you know what I'm saying? But we have to do it. At number 5, we have none other than the New Jersey Twerk. When it comes to his strengths, he's literally a walking highlight reel. When he's on, he's going to at least give you 2 to 3 moments in a battle that's like, oh my God, like whether it's the drive-by 2, whether it's the over the body with the hoodie down, pocket check and smack, even him like dunking on Suge in the battle, the pour gasoline with it, rock with it. There goes your franchise boy hopping in the crowd, the top drop like a Mario. Like, I can name 100 different moments that he can spawn. Great projection. I feel like that goes in performance. He has one of the more stronger voices in battle rap. Rarely have I heard Twerk lose his voice, and he yells a lot. Like, he yells a lot as a battler, and I've never heard him lose his voice even when he's like really projecting. High energy, right? With like him just bouncing around, just gets the crowd going.
Clap to the stage.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but what do you have to say about Twerk as a performer?
Yeah, I mean, to be real, it's another one of those things where it's like just off pure ability.
Yes.
You could almost argue him up to number one just if we take him at peaks and, 100% things of that nature. Incredible, the energy he generates, the voice inflections, which a lot of people, obviously, I know love to bring it up every time. Oh, it came from Lou Castro, and it came from Prez Mafia,
right?
And it came from this, and it came from Twerk is Twerk.
Yes.
All right. The way that he does his things, the way he does in voice inflection, yes. I think premise-wise that some guys got to it first, definitely wrapping around Lou. They might have done some of the, some of the pacing stuff first, but what he does at a whole other level. Part of that has to do with literally his size, which it sounds funny, but 6'5", 6'6", dominates the stage and uses all of that to his advantage, similar to an honorable mention that we mentioned, Shotgun Suge. It's only few guys that get that advantage, but if you genuinely have physical stature, you can use that to make yourself literally look like you're being very dominant over your opponent. There's just only really positives to say in terms of the actual technicalities of his performance, but what holds him back, very simply, like we did for someone else on the punchers list, is himself.
Yes.
For something that me and Malcolm, which we debated this one for a while, man. I want you guys to know that we were talking about Twerk being high. We had a very big debate.
Yeah.
Why I thought that he had to come down, and I think Malcolm was able to agree, is that part of your performance is being clean. Clean performance, getting through your material clean, not being choppy and just derailing your momentum. And without, going down a very long list of instances and, getting into a slanderous direction, the man just simply has choked away way too many battles. Even in some of his best performances versus a JC or versus a Verb.
He had a stumble. Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. Off of pure ability, as a puncher, as a performer, there really is an argument that just on pure ability, this man probably should have been on his way to being the best ever. We should be talking about him in one of those conversations right now. But even though he's still giving us a good body of work, just not enough. We know about the big asterisk on a part of his career, and that's really the only thing holding him down here at the number 5 spot.
Yeah, no, he literally has a lot of things that a performer needs, whether it's the delivery, whether it's the projection, whether it's the knowing how to move around on the stage, whether it's like signature moves. Battle rap and wrestling are pretty much one.
He's a perfect performer, and he sadly just doesn't bring that guy. He's a perfect performer that doesn't bring perfect performance all the time, and that's the story.
Yeah, but salute to Twerk for still making the list, even with some of the slip ups and stuff that he has in his career. Very, very great performer. At number 4, I just get excited listening to these guys. At number 4, we have none other than Sue Surf. Sue Surf. When I think of Sue Surf, I think of great crowd control, probably the best crowd control in battle rap. Literally have the crowd eating out the palm of his hand. Great pacing in terms of knowing when to move, knowing when to do certain stuff. Good movement. Early on in his career, him and a couple other guys were kind of the people that kind of infused the idea of performance in battle rap. The lock pick his door. That's performance. That's performance. Even if it's a small scale, that's performance. And he's able to bring that on a big stage, you know what I'm saying? And performance doesn't even have to be dancing. It could be a small gesture. Just the way he does the Tar Heels and look at the bottom of his foot is just a little hint of performance to make the bar land. Then, and again, delivery is a part of performance. The way he's able to get to the punch and all that, really, really great performer. People love watching him live just because they know that they're going to get a moment out of him in a battle. And he just knows how to control that crowd, man. His crowd control is up there as one of the best people to control the crowd. So what do you have to say about Surf?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because after talking about Twerk, in a way, it's really a similar, even though the way they particularly perform is unique and obviously one of one for each. It is a very similar thing. We're just at his peaks, like you talked about with crowd control and obviously he's had countless great material, great rounds, but his crowd control even goes to show that there is some bars that, he got Don DeMarco for earning an ass. So even when sometimes the writing goes out a little bit, he always keeps his composure. And then on top of that, he's able to deliver a lot of emotion and his imagery and actually making people feel his material. His third versus Hitman. We talk about his second round versus Geechee Gotti, the way he's able to perform you and walk you through his life. He really puts kind of the performing arts part of battle rap, puts it at the forefront. And I think to kind of cast out and make people feel emotions through your battle raps is something that you get to see rarely. And he's really a master of that. So obviously, at his peak, one of the best performers, and that's why he's here. But another reason we compared with his work is that very simply, it's going to be the same thing where in terms of the technical aspect of his performance, not a lot to pick apart here, but there's a few guys, actually a list of 5 of them, that we feel that way about really performance-wise. But when it comes to his fault, not nearly as bad as Twerk's, but the inconsistencies have to come into it. And choking is part of staying clean. And then on top of choking, there's times where Sue Surf has gotten out like a 2 or 2.5 minute round and been completely lackadaisical.
Very still.
His battle versus Verb in the first round, a lot of good material in there for real. In a battle that's really not that good, but something that takes away even from the first is he really doesn't give it. He doesn't really care. He talks about in interviews how much he doesn't care. And, while that doesn't affect his bag, his brand, and how a lot of people view him as all-time, I still think he's one of the best all-time battlers. It is going to affect you a little bit in the all-time ranks, and especially in a list like this, when other people perform as flawlessly as you and do it closer to 100% of the time. So really one of those things where the only thing holding himself down here is himself, but that's why we have Sue Surf at the number 4 spot.
Yeah, and I can echo the sentiment about sometimes he comes in a little bit like Daisical. Hell, sometimes he comes in and he just raps his bars still as hell. Like he just be still and just raps his bars. But when he does get in that bag where he's moving around and he's doing his signature moves and he's, engaging with the crowd, like that's when he's at his best. That's when he's at his best. And number 3, right? This guy made the honorable mentions list for punchers, and now he's on the list for performers. We have none other than Mr. Gunbar King Tay Rock. Tay Rock is the epitome of having great delivery and great conviction. Not to say his bars are not good, but he is the king of delivering bars to perfection. Right. So if he does have if he does have a haymaker bar, when he delivers it, it hits even harder than what it would hit if he was just at it regularly. When I think of Tay Rock, I think of just his ability to, the aggression, the ability to land a haymaker because of the delivery that he has. And on top of that, he also has a little bit of crowd control too. Maybe not on the same level as Surf, but people still are listening to every word that Tay Rock is saying. And I feel like as time progressed, he's even have been engaged in more movement on the stage, right? The seatbelt bar, the redo something, trying to subtract something, the smack white out where he does a little gesture or whatever. What the fuck is that? He's infused more movement in his bar.
Gray's hair sheet happens.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
He just had because he topped that whole flow pocket.
Yeah.
We were actually in the building for that.
Yep, yes, we were.
And it just the way that he acted out quite literally every bar, you're following not just the bar, but you're literally your eyes following what he's doing on the stage, which is really the epitome of performance.
So I turn my head so as time progressed, he's even in 2014, 2015, he would have made the list, but it would have been strictly off of, now he performed a little bit, but it was strictly off of delivery, just how his voice inflection and how he gets to the bar. It was strictly off delivery. Now he's adding a little bit more movement, a little bit more pacing and knowing how to the certain gestures to use and stuff like that. So now he may even in the next couple of years or so, he may even move up higher. But yeah, no, Tay Rock is most definitely and also consistency. Now, come on now, if he's on a big stage, not very often he's going to have a dull moment on a big stage. There's only a rare occasion that he has a dull moment on the big stage. He's going to give you at least 1 or 2 moments. It's oh my God, that was crazy. But the only thing that keeps him from moving up the list is the fact that he was more of a person that really rapped his bars or whatever and had like the delivery aspect of it, but he wasn't really like, moving around and really engaging with the crowd that much. Like you get a little bit of a snippet with of it, a little bit with the little gesture he did with, since he's from Yaktown, pour out yak for him. You know what I'm saying? You get that here and there.
Pour out yak for him.
Yeah. But it was a little bit few far in between. It was primarily like the conviction and the delivery of the bars, and not really like the actual performative aspect or whatever. And this is like a little bit of a nitpicking thing, because obviously when we get to 2 and 3, they're like, we kind of have to nitpick to kind of show why there's a separation a little bit. But did you?
And particularly, when we get to like 1 or 2, we are talking about guys that are purely, kind of their whole careers are through performance. So, one thing about having Tay-Rock at 3 is that he is a fantastic performer. When we go into the consistency, in my personal opinion, something I've been on the record saying many times, I think Tay-Rock just is the best battle rapper of all time. It's not coming from someone that's particularly even a humongous Tay-Rock fan, and it's a very subjective topic, but when we talk about the consistency of what he's done, what you're going to notice is that honorable mention on punches high on this list, may or may not be, but on the other list, but he is pretty acquainted well and many skill sets at an elite level. And just particularly as a performer, the way that he's shaking the big stage, the way he's demanded for every time to be on the big stage, it just is consistency. There's really not much more to say about it. The only thing really stopping him from being in these top 2 spots is that the guys that we have above him just think that they worked particularly through the aspect of performance. They worked the stage more. They were moving. As we talked about, Tay-Rock didn't really get into the moving and kind of taking up the full stage until a little later in his career. These are 2 guys that pretty much their bread and butter completely off of battle rap is that, while Tay-Rock is really just, very well-rounded. So, great to have him here at number 3. Funny, we got gun titles, 3 and 4 with Rock and Surf, but, 3 is as high as we can put him. It's still fantastic spot for him. Yeah.
And then number 2, the runner-up, we got to see this person live, and he was crazy. Performance of the night, we have none other than K-Shine. When you talk about performance, energy, movement, excitement, entertainment, K-Shine is one of the few people that you talk about immediately. K-Shine has some of the best performances in terms of movement, in terms of overall like performances in battle rap history. Whether it's the 3rd round versus DNA, the 3rd round versus JC, like the mess around and walk through him against A-Verb, the is he dead kick, the this will put Rum down like remain sober, but this will throw Rum up like a hangover. Like he is the epitome of like knowing how to sell your bars and knowing how to like move and engage the crowd in what you're doing. When I think of K-Shine, I do think of like one of the best performers in battle rap history for sure.
Yeah, and it's just through the way flawless, completely done through performance, to the point that some people have said there's a distinction that he kind of has a fall off on cam compared to his in the building stuff. And what's crazy is that, well, I do think some of his battles, some of the writing definitely ages a little bit wonky. You get some stuff in the building that might be a little bit simplistic. Part of that is just building up momentum. A lot of it really doesn't age that bad. He's just that overbearing in a big room where you're just completely mesmerized. And especially when we talk about one bar to build it up, 2 cans, and then I really did, and I rip it up. Like that kind of flow where bam, 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 bam. It's like every movement, it's near choreographed. I think it was versus Chess and Themes too that him and DNA did the, what do you call it? He put the
mime, and then like he had the mime. Like it was crazy.
And pretty much the only thing that holds him from being number 1, because the man is synonymous with performance, is that he did participate as half of kind of the big battle of the performers. He had his opportunity to make this mainstay for number 1. Sadly, historically, he lost that battle here, and we're going to get into that, fully in a second. But flawless performer, and the only thing holding him at number 2 is that number 1 kind of yanked that spot from him. So.
Yeah, and sometimes like there's having situations where he had certain slumps, right, where he was performing still, but it just wasn't as effective, right? We talked about the time period and like, you know, that 20 after the DNA battle, like that 2013 through 2015-ish period up into the Averb 20 and then a little 2016. Yeah. So, but there is more good than there is bad. So it's just a slight consistency problem. But as we can see, he can catch fire at any moment. That Real Sick performance might be performance of the year in terms of like movement and doing certain stuff. Like that might be performance of the year right now in terms of just knowing how to. I'm about to say this thing.
Charger, drop that. Under my big T, it's 2 revolvers. Pop, and I got them from Spain. They make me do the salsa overboard. Pull a pound, 100 clip, he get the fully round. He don't know who did it. I'm over the body with the hoodie down. Literally get dirt on him. 4-4 bulldog on me, the bark dangerous. That's not an excuse. I really did do my homework, but the dog ate it all great.
The chamber got 1 and the clip got Aiden. Michael Myers jumping with the mask off of Jason. Lockpick his door. Stick my face in the Terminator mode like the baby out the playpen. Queen Latifah set it off mask. Jump into 380. Cops catch him, fuck it. It was ugly, he could plead crazy. Lockpick the door. They sleep, maybe see a certain bar. G baby, G baby. What I need to... That tool belt heavy, them hammers and them drills light. Robbed me of my innocence when they made me go and steal life. You can have debatable battles when you 30 niggas in real life. I wish this nigga a swing. I put your shit in a sling. Fuck you up in front of your niggas like this is your king. What? 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 I ain't nothing like none of them cats ducking. That's bluffing. Questioning me gonna make me act something, nigga. You will get hit with a deuce when the strap dumping. He fall, I reduce him. I'm trying to subtract something. Nigga, this is me, bro. Take a razor, cut through his bone till I break his finger, run his head through a wall, look like I'm doing a Kamehameha. What? 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 Come on, man, y'all don't do the fuck.
Sawed off shotty, that shit shooting out breadsticks. Headshot, aim at the noggin and make his neck glitch. Walk up to the body. Right. Give him that is he dead kick. When I gotta remix it? Nah, face shots, both heaters. How the fuck you gonna remix with no features? The nice
Shit like that.
back to back sings. This the game closer. This shit gonna put rum down like remain sober. But this shit gonna throw rum up like a hangover, eh?
And at number 1, we have none other than the Hitman Holla. When we talk about performance, same thing we said about Shine, we might put a little bit of an emphasis on performance with Hitman. Earlier, we said that Sue Surf has probably the best crowd control in battle rap. This man literally said 2 bars, the crowd went silent, and he used the silence of the crowd as a bar against John. That's kind of insane. Like he's probably like
so how to control the room.
Like if Surf is 2, Hitman is 1 when it comes to crowd control. And then even if you want to talk about movement, like he's a highlight reel too. My brother gonna have to hold me up. The first 48 against Big T. The man, what you saying? What? The Arsenal second round with the storytelling, but the little bit of like gesturing and performance there. Even like his brother jumping is a part of performance because he still has to act that out and like make it coherent and convincing like to the crowd or whatever. Because any other person jumping in or whatever, you're not thinking anything really gonna happen. But with his brother jumping in, you know, the conviction that they both have, it kind of feels like something's actually gonna happen. So that his ability to, you know what I'm saying, again, act out his bars, the conviction and delivery that he has, probably one of the better, you know, delivery people in the game. And you may say it's rapping too, because it kind of goes into rapping, but some of the cadences and the way he's able to build up to a haymaker, and reload with the bullets that came out him, like the whole build up into that. You know what I'm saying? The even though you don't like it, the RoboCop situation that he had against K-Shine, the Mellow with the hoodie on, like he is the epitome of a highlight reel. When you think of Hitman, you think of a highlight reel. Every battle you can think of a moment he gives you. Like just his recent battle against Calico, the showroom floor. Like, come on now, that's one of the best quotables of 2021. Or Bill Collector, the whole body change, like even Tay Rock with his rendition of the seatbelt, like the trying to find my way out, light out the cave, like literally the definition of a highlight reel.
Yeah, and then another big thing that works for him, which is what I just spoke about with K-Shine before. Obviously, they had a battle that was kind of set up as battle of the performers, big time Espen battle. And the masses believes that Hitman just clearly 30'd Shine. I do have Hitman clearly winning. We talked about it behind the scenes. I think that battle's actually a little close. But I respect that my opinion is in the minority. And besides that is more material based, the reason that I think it is. But it was a battle of the performers, and it is no question that he outperformed K-Shine that night, specifically, in that area, battle rap, made him look small on that stage. And then even Tay-Rock, at a point when Tay-Rock had just been through his run, prime Tay-Rock, not catching him early, nothing. He got a gentleman's 30 on Tay-Rock, main event for Summer Madness. So both of those just speak to his resume, incredibly, two guys that don't lose that very often, and some people would say that he was 6-0 against them. And also kind of the originator of performance in battle rap. It can get a little bit murky if you go back. Hand motions and somewhat are always going to be part of people's rounds, but Hitman Holla was definitely one of the first to completely build the style, off of that. And I think his pacing is great too. The contract said, I can hit this motherfucker, not you. You know what I'm saying?
Or even the Big T battle where grab her by the thighs, there, put her under my chin, cut her, look like I'm playing the violin.
Definitely one of these where he's the originator, and compared to maybe some of the other originators that we ranked before where they're not number one on the list, the difference for him is that every time he comes back, he shows why he's still number one for the most part. Absolutely. So this is one of those where, similar to how I felt about the number one on the punchers list, I'm going to say it. I think this is Hitman. Maybe I said it by a mile. I could say that, but not necessarily he's just miles better than K-Shine or, Rock Surf as a performer. But this is one of those objective ones where we think that, objectively, Hitman really is the number one performer of all time.
The cries when I spot her, I pick her up by her thighs, then put her under my chin, cut her across the chest. It looked like I'm playing the violin. Y'all with the black gloves, rubber grip with the radar chip. The black gloves, rubber grip with the radar chip. I come to one of the burn parties with an 8-yard clip and shoot soon and shoot soon and shoot soon and shoot soon as I can leave like I'm As soon as I lift that, watch a nigga load it. Soon as I lift that, watch a nigga load it. That bitch go kaboom. That bitch go kaboom. That bitch go kaboom. Specialized killer. I'm unique with the crime. I just follow him home, creep from behind. I don't even talk a lot. I just speak with the 9. I drop him and walk up on him like I'm legally blind. I can't wait to show those ops. I hit hard. My right hand, I make Kodo drop. I crop him out like Photoshop. These two machine arms got me walking like RoboCop. The 40, now I open the act when it start the show. High speed chase, I'm on them. I do my cardio, shooting while the whip's still spinning. It's Super Mario.
That was our top 5 for performers. We really enjoy doing that. We try to be very detailed in that too, because we know like what's considered performance can kind of be murky or whatever. So we really try to be like very, very detailed in that regard. But we appreciate you guys watching. The next top 5 that we will get into is none other than top 5 anglers. I know people may say like, well, isn't angling kind of like, you know what I'm saying, a component of pins? Yes, but there are particular anglers that may not be pin heavy, but they're still really good anglers, and we want to highlight those guys. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back soon.